Hey everybody, Brent back with another edition of Star Huddle 77. How the heck are you? So this is my second video I've made since I've come back from my collecting hiatus. And let me tell you, it was really good to get a video out about 10 days ago. And I appreciate a lot of the comments and texts that I received after I put that video out. It's kind of like almost a proof of life declaration that my loitering with intent was made official with that video. So I appreciate many of you for reaching out and the kind words. For any of you YouTube content creators out there that are going through a similar hiatus or a funk or just aren't feeling it and want to get back into it, I've heard others say it and they're not wrong. Just hit play, hit record, and say stuff, post it, and let the other stuff sort itself out. My video wasn't perfect, but I wanted to get something out there to kind of let people know where I'm at, what I'm doing, and where I'm going, and it really felt good. So again, thank you. A couple of things I wanted to bring up from that previous video before I move on to the topic of today's video. In that video, I mentioned where my collecting journey has taken me and the selling off of pretty much almost my whole entire collection, with the remaining few 10% of my collection still intact that I kept. And I referred to how I'm going to house, store, display this collection. And again, I thought I was very clear that that's how I wanted to approach it. I get that the way that I'm approaching how I'm going to have a collection is unique and puts me in the minority of most collectors. So I understand that, and I wanted to reiterate that my intent was to tell folks how I'm going to approach my collecting and how I'm going to approach my hobby from a museum curation standpoint. And it's something that I've noticed over the past few months of just watching content without making it, but also trying to stay connected with the hobby and getting back into watching content. There's a lot of, there's some tropes in the hobby. One of them is collect what you like. There's another one that is often bandied around. There's no wrong way to collect. And I think sometimes those words are said, but not always. It's the talk versus the walk. And while I appreciate those things being true in and of themselves, it's a good reminder for me and hopefully for others to remember that that isn't just something to be said, that's something to believe. Not everybody collects the same as you. And I don't want to be the person that would ever say, collect what you like. There's no wrong way of collecting. And then my words betray that in other videos or talking to other people. I want to be true to that. And I have learned over the past few months, there is no wrong way to collect. And I sometimes could find myself wanting to besmirch, is that a word? I think, if that's a proper word to use in this context, others the way that they collect. And I've had to take a step back, and I appreciate the 30,000 foot view that I've had of the hobby this last few months of just appreciating everybody's nuances. It's like, I don't want everybody to collect the same way. In fact, I want them to be unique. I want them to be wacky, different, and be the go against the flow, up the opposite way of the stream kind of collector. That stuff I like. So I think that might be me now. I don't know. I don't know if my way of wanting to store and display cards is going to be, unique, but it's me. That's where I want to be. And that's a good segue into what I want to talk about today. There are two individuals. Before I hit record, I was going to make this video yesterday. And then I started thinking, and I changed it to two folks that I want to bring up that have really impacted me, both over the last few months and literally over the last few days. The first person that I want to bring up is Dakota from the Anonymous collection. He has been making content for a while. Apparently he took a break for a while. I didn't know who he was, and I don't even know how I stumbled upon his channel, but he has a series on his channel where it's called The Slow Burn. And it's simply him sitting outside, smoking a cigar, often by a nice fire, and just speaking his mind. And I have found myself to be gravitationally pulled to his universe, if I could get cosmic for a minute. And I am so appreciative of what he's brought to the hobby and these slow burn conversations. And I'll put it right here if I haven't already. Check him out, please, please, please do. May not be for everyone, but what I appreciate about it is a lot of the things that I wanted to say and how I kind of said them in the last video, and some things I'll say today, he says more eloquently. He may not think he's as eloquent, but he's very matter of fact, very succinct and easy to listen to, as he just sits by the fire and puffs on a cigar, and he really talks about being an intentional collector. And that's kind of been the topic of many of his conversations. And one of the things that he's brought up in recent videos, the slow burn videos, is his intentional collector thesis. I have it here in front of me because there's a couple parts of it I want to read to you. And this is where my kind of lost in this hobby world, the wandering found its home. And what I mean by that is the things that he was saying was exactly what I was searching for in this hobby, because I really felt lost, and I didn't feel like I had intention, and I didn't feel like my collection was bringing me the joy that it should bring me. And Dakota, for whatever reason, just super resonated with me. So he has something called the intentional collector thesis. And I'm not going to read the whole thing because it's something that he's linked a couple times in his videos, but I want a couple of excerpts from it that I want to read to you that really resonate with me. And the first one, he says, every collector is building one of two things. A museum is a curated, intentional home you want to tell, a reflection of your roots, your nostalgia, and your personal history. Without a scope of collection, you aren't a curator. You are a hoarder. You are building a mausoleum. So it's the mausoleum versus the museum thought here. You are building a mausoleum, a tomb for random purchases that tell no story and serves no purpose other than to take up space. You are literally burying yourself in cards. And I hope if you go back and watch the video I made before this and then listen to the words I just said, that's what I was trying to say. And that's me. It's him, obviously, because this is where his journey's taken him, and he's found purpose in his collecting, and this is exactly what I was looking for. My collection was feeling like a mausoleum, a tomb for random purchases that tells no story and serves no purpose other than to take up space. So that was the first part of his intentional collector thesis that really resonated with me. He also has something called the joy filter. Intentionally requiring the discipline to say no to 99% of the market so you can say yes to the 1% that defines your scope. This is critical. Small holes sink great ships. And again, this resonated with me as well, where I would not have the discipline to say no to the 99% of the market. And I was very easily distracted. Shiny squirrel, that looks really cool. I can convince myself that this card's going to find a place of purpose in my collection to then buy it, like I said in the last video, look at it, maybe post it on Instagram when I was making videos, maybe put it on a video, and then it lost its luster and it lost its intentionality. Not that it had intentionality in the first place. And then I would put it in the box, and that's it. That's a majority of the cards that I've sold this past year are cards just like that. So the joy filter, having that filter through my lens of collecting and looking for cards. And then the last point I want to bring up is identify the common thread in your collection. Is it a specific team from your roots? Is it your era of nostalgia? Is it a specific art style or a player who defines your love of the game? All those things can be true. So once you figure that out, then define your scope. Whatever that common thread is, that is the pillar of your scope of collecting. Lean into that narrative and style. That's the narrative and style that I want to lean into, having a defined scope for my collection. So I wanted to read those excerpts from his intentional collector thesis and give a shout out and a thank you to Dakota at the Anonymous Collection for being such a ambassador for us lost collectors and an advocate for helping us find our way back into this hobby. So thank you, sir. The second person I want to talk about is no one that is new to the hobby, very well respected and beloved, and if not, he should be, and that is Alex Bowman 53. Now, I've known Alex for a while. Back in the day, I would be more of a contributor on his channel. I've been in a few of his card room lives, and just this past week, he put out an amazing, the superlatives are going to escape me, so I'm going to struggle here for a minute, but an amazing homage to Hank Aaron through his 1954 rookie card. And Alex has an amazing production value when it comes to these types of videos, but the message transcends the production value. But it's almost like, come for the production value and stay for the amazing, heartfelt message that he was able to convey that really put you next to Hank Aaron and made you appreciate him more than I already did. I don't know if there's anybody out there that doesn't appreciate him to some level. And I know I do. And I walked away from that video that I've watched a couple times now, just feeling just refreshed. And what I appreciate about Alex with that video, especially, that kind of just turned the light switch on for me, is I appreciate how he collects as well. He's always been intentional. He's always been super patient. He doesn't put out very many mail day videos. And when he does, they're going to be very intentional. His scope of 1950s New York baseball is very intentional. And he has these videos of other pickups that transcend the cardboard. I think I put that in the comment for his video, that you always hear another trope is, the beyond the cardboard, or this is more than cardboard. And that video in and of itself epitomizes what that phrase should and can look like. And his intentionality is very admirable and something that I want to emulate. So thank you, Alex, and go check out his Hank Aaron rookie card video that he just put out. I'll put a link down below if you haven't seen it already. It's an amazing video. You're going to watch it, you're going to want to share it with others, and it's really going to make you take a step back and just appreciate not just the craftsmanship and production value, but just the thought process and the words and the ability to convey emotions through the cardboard. There, I said it myself. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. So this is going to be part 1 of 2. My next video, I'm going to talk about what my scope of collecting now is and where my collection is going, how I'm going to curate my collection, and what the vision and path is for my channel going forward. So I wanted to get this video out, so this will be part 1. Part 2, I'm probably going to film right after this and post it in a couple days. So I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for watching my channel, and I will talk to you soon. All right, thanks.